But I want to ask you, what's is there anything you're working on these days or learning or thinking about, or it's on your mind?
What's on my mind?
Mhm.
I don't know what's on my mind because I feel like I have too many folders open right now, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Like mentally
yeah,
too many
I
folders?
do. I
Mhm.
think I'm like, and I'm not quite being able to prioritize properly. So I feel like I'm kind of like stuck at the
Mhm.
front. I need to get some of those things into the back, like checked off the list, and it's just not.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling with that, and I don't know if it's just everything at one time, so my brain doesn't, you know, I don't know, doesn't
Yeah.
know how to.
Do you think that Yeah, do you think that has anything to do with back to school? Like I remember it's a long time since my kids were, in the September, but I seem to remember that being an obvious busy time, right? For sure, but
Yeah.
do you think it's also come like does it kind of all just come to a head at September and then you got to find your groove,
Yeah.
or is it something different than you've experienced before?
No, I would say that this is probably pretty normal just because you're trying to get back into the routine of getting your kids off to school and then kind of, getting
Mhm.
your day kind of done. And like, I mean, now I'm doing something different. So I'm like working from home. And so it's a bit different. And then I'm trying
Mhm.
to, like get my life kind of organized. And it just doesn't seem like it,
Yeah.
I can't really find my groove. And then it's, the kids come home from school and then it's quite hectic and chaotic because again, like I have two kids that need me all the time, right? So it's quite I'm
Mhm.
quite all over the place. And so it gets pretty busy
Mhm.
around here. So it's just trying to trying to find that what works again, and
Yeah,
it's
and I remember just the kids just barely getting to school, and all of a sudden it's almost time for them to come home,
yeah,
and you're like, "Wait, where did the day
I
go? I thought
know.
I had all day to get things done," or
Yeah.
and then you go to the freezer and you find out you don't have enough freaking chicken for
Yes.
supper, and now what? It's
I
like, "Hey,
know.
Costco hot dogs, I don't know."
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, and even too, like, I mean, for my youngest boy, like, he starts hockey right away. So then it's like just even more busy, right? And then trying to like,
Mm,
and then winters are always busy for my husband. So just trying to find the groove of the fall, winter, it just kind of gets
yeah.
a little bit much. But I mean, you find your groove, you find what works, and you get through it.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
with a stiff drink at the end of the week, but
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah.
Do you I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but I know you've been working on your own sort of like e-learning course or
Hmm.
something. To I know that's, stuff we talk about kind
Yeah.
of in our work life, but how's that going? Like, I know that's something you've been trying to do and wanting to do for a long time.
I
Like,
know.
it's what, like a finance course for young
Yeah.
people,
So
or
it's like I'm trying to
Hmm.
do it so it's geared towards like people who are trying to, take that next step, leaving their parents' home. Or, for
Yeah,
people who just
emerging adults,
emerging
as we've
adults.
coined them.
Yes. And for
Yeah.
anybody who just maybe wants to like find a different way, because if they're struggling or whatever to just be financially successful and have a healthy relationship with
Mhm.
money and their finances and their income and just kind of find a way that works for them that they're comfortable with and that they're not, you know, kind of just, flying by the seat of their pants, right? But
Yeah,
it's more
yeah.
for like, I had this conversation with my oldest daughter who was like, I left school and now it's like, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to like, credit or what is interest or how do I get a mortgage or how do I apply for housing, and it's all things that like
Mhm.
I know are not necessarily taught in school. So I just felt that, I see my daughter struggle and, trying to get her on the right path and educated and show her how to do things. And it's like, I think it's so essential for our kids to be set up for success. And I think that there's something
Mhm.
really important in knowing something as simple as applying for utilities for your home. A lot of people don't know how to do that
Mhm.
or where to look. It's those first steps that a lot of us just are not aware of. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what I've kind of been putting together is, like like a bunch of information and you can talk to me and we can have like a one-on-one and we can do a, you know, um,
Mhm.
like a more specific and personalized experience. But it's for somebody who, doesn't have a lot of money, but somebody who just wants some help and it's affordable and it's, you know, I'm just,
Yeah, and often that age group doesn't really care for what their parents have to say about it. So you could say
no.
the exact same thing to my kid and they'd probably listen to it,
Hmm.
where if I said it to my kid, they're like, "Oh, whatever, mom, what do you know?" But it's interesting, like right now our guys of course are moving into, they're looking for a new apartment. Up until now they've had a lot of help securing that, right? Like either we got the place and then they just moved into it or whatever, but they're trying to do it on their own. And even knowing how to have the right documentation available and ready, right? Like your credit score, your employment history, your reference letters,
Hmm.
the proof of employment, right? All of those things are like a package that you kind
Yeah.
of have to have ready to go. Not, hey, some landlords interested in letting us apply, but now it, like they want all this stuff, and by the
Hmm.
time they get all the stuff, the place is gone, right?
Pretty
So
much.
even just, yeah, understanding how to do that ahead of time. And when I did a lot of training with like job readiness and employment training for young adults, that was one thing they had no idea about. A credit score, how do you
Hmm.
get it, why is it important, the fact that it's free, you can get it for free, um, or how to get the your landlord to give you the reference, or how to get your employment history, like those things they just didn't know. They didn't
Hmm.
I had one young woman, she was so smart, she still is, she's not past 10, she's very smart.
Yeah.
She's now an apprentice on job sites, like she's doing such great, and she's making really good bank, like
Hmm.
she's young, but now she's, because she's in these trades, she's making a lot of money. She It was a year into her working, and she said, Raylene, I don't know what to do. Like, all she had was her checks. Of course, they're direct deposit, right? Because
Hmm.
most employers do that now. They don't just hand you a check.
Yeah.
Direct deposit, but she didn't, she knew how to get the basics out, but she didn't know what to do with it. She didn't know
Hmm.
about savings accounts. She didn't know if she should have a credit card. A lot of people don't realize that in order to build your credit rating, having a credit card or like your cell phone in your own name, like those things can actually really help you
Yeah.
if you use them wisely and well. But she
Absolutely.
didn't know any of that, and I was
Yeah.
so shocked, like, how did you get through all of this and not know?
Hmm.
And the weird thing is that I taught her some of that early, before she got that job, but it kind of went in one ear and out
Yeah.
the other because it wasn't relevant to her, at that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard.
It is hard. And I think, I was having a conversation with my youngest about just getting himself prepared, right? And it's just, there's steps that you need to take, and it's important to follow those steps. And then it's
Hmm.
important to adjust them if it needs to be adjusted and keep on top of it because, you want to have a healthy relationship with your money. You want to have a healthy relationship with yourself, right? Like it's just, there are
Hmm.
things that you want to do that you don't want them to be frustrating because you have no way of finding out, or it's a hassle to find out, or you're not looking in the right spots. But it's nice to have that information and be told it, and then you can use it because it's a tool, right? And so
Yeah.
I think it's important, and it's something that our kids are really lacking.
It's I think there's also a lot of shame associated to it as well. Like I think of my older daughters and some of their friends, and they're maybe making money, they're trying to, get they're trying to adult. They're in
Yeah.
their like late 20s, 30ish now, and they're all trying to adult. And even things like just encouraging them to keep a folder with all your key documents, like don't let it be random, make sure you've got backups on your phone and computer, like make your life easier by having those things somewhat organized.
Hmm.
I have an app on my phone. I mean, if I died or somebody wanted to steal all my passwords, right, they'd have to figure out what it is. But I
Hmm.
have made sure that things are very organized so people can go through them if I needed that help or
Yeah.
something came up, right? But it is, I think we learn those things as we get older. And I love the idea of your program because it's trying to like pull that together and give people, it's like you need to, young people and older people need to feel empowered, not
Hmm.
shamed,
Yeah.
for what they don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the nice thing about the program you're trying to develop, is that whether you're an emerging adult, like an older teenager, a young college student, or a 50 something year old person who's like, I never really learned this and I
Mhm.
feel so ashamed I can't. It's like not knowing how to read.
Yeah.
You know, you get to a certain point where you feel so ashamed that you don't tell anybody.
Mhm.
Financial literacy, even at its basic level, can also be like that,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
and it
So hopefully people will find you and like work with you